Okay, call this Village of Greenhills Council meeting of October 25, 2022 to order. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Absolutely. Mr. Halter.
Here.
Ms. Hudson.
Here.
Ms. Osmanoglu.
Here.
Ms. Hermes.
Here.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Ms. Walther.
Here.
Mayor Moore.
Here. And we have a prayer by Maria Leffer.
Lord, we ask you to send your spirit of servanthood upon all of us gathered this evening to do your work for the benefit of all in our village. We ask you to bless our elected and appointed officials so they may deliberate with wisdom and act with courage. Bless the members of our community who would come forth to speak before council so they state their cause with honesty and humility. Lord, teach us to be generous in listening so we may understand others' points of view. Lord, we ask you to bless us all, that everything we do here tonight will move you to welcome us one day into your kingdom as good and faithful servants. We ask this in the name of our brother Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a public presentation this time from Hamilton County R3, formerly the Hamilton County Recycling Solid Waste District, presented by Elsie Broadleaf.
Thanks, Rolla.
Here, do you want my glasses?
You're a good sport.
Yeah.
Good to go?
Yeah.
All right, my name is Elise Rolla, and I'm the outreach specialist for Hamilton County Resource. Just here to give a quick heads up about the Hamilton County Solid Waste Plan update, which you should all have in front of you the slides to view now and keep to go over as needed, with contact information on it as well. So Hamilton County Resource is formerly known as the Hamilton County Recycling and Solid Waste District. We are a non-regulatory county office with the mission of reducing waste going to the landfills. We are part of the Department of Environmental Services under the Board of County Commissioners. So before we dive too much into the plan update, I want to quickly highlight a few programs that we have to support our communities in reducing how much waste goes to the landfill. That's the slide with the little 4 programs on it. We have grants, we have outreach campaigns, which I run. I present to schools, residents, and businesses all throughout the county to try to educate the 800,000 people in the county. We have environmental enforcement to investigate illegal dumping throughout Hamilton County. And we have drop-off programs for yard trimmings and also an annual household hazardous waste drop-off program that we just had this past weekend. On the next slide, one of the functions of a solid waste district is to update a 15-year solid waste plan every 5 years. This plan considers if Hamilton County will have enough capacity to dispose of our waste and what programs our office will have to meet the state-mandated recycling goals. The full draft plan is available on our website under About Us, and we have been working on this plan update since early 2021. We're now in the final phase where we're currently making the final edits after the Ohio EPA reviewed it in September. Once we go out for ratification, on the next slide, we have 90 days and we'll be asking communities to pass resolutions approving the solid waste plan update. According to the Ohio Revised Code, we must have communities representing 60% of the population, and we must have the approval of our largest municipality, which is Cincinnati. Our last plan update received 100% approval, so hoping for a smooth one this year as well. On the next slide, you'll see our residential recycling incentive program. So the plan update is 300 pages, so I'm gonna give you a few highlights of that. The residential recycling incentive is one of those programs that is budgeted the same as the last plan at $800,000. Should the revenue go $100,000 or higher than projections, The current draft has those funds going to the RRI program to increase the budget to $900,000. New in this plan, communities will be able to count commercial recycling and composting programs as part of their diversion rates, and we are adding a minimum threshold so communities will at least receive a set amount. That's yet to be determined, but $500,000, $5,000 is the current projection. I wish. So Greenhills in 2021 received $7,800, a little over that, for their 30% diversion rate, which is awesome. Hopefully you guys will get more than that in the coming year. The commercial and industrial sectors make up 86% of the waste generated in Hamilton County. That's including the landfill, recycling, and composting. But historically, Hamilton County Resource has only allocated a relatively small percentage of our budget and staff resources to working with businesses. So in the plan, we have increasing our budget in this area, which will hopefully allow us to provide assistance to even more businesses and reduce more waste. Then finally, we have hired a local consultant, Rice Education Consulting, to evaluate our current programs from a DEI perspective, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and help us develop future measurement and goals. The full DEI report is on our website as well, and also is incorporated into the plan update text. It is very important to Resource that we offer accessible and inclusive programming to reach all of the people who live and work in this county. Unrelated to DEI, one of the final pieces we are researching now is how changing our out-of-district fee would impact the waste flow into Hamilton County. If we increase the fee for Butler County waste coming into the county, would that decrease the waste or not? We're trying to figure that out. We are not looking into increasing the fees that would impact in-district businesses or residents, so that wouldn't affect you all. Okay, and the last slide, I have contact information for the solid waste manager, Michelle Balls. She is the one who has put all of the blood, sweat, and tears, or most of the blood, sweat, and tears into this plan update, and has all the details, can answer any questions that you may have, so feel free to email or call her if you have questions concerning this. So, thank you. That is all of your time I will take up today, but thank you for allowing me to come and present, and if you have any questions, again, please feel free to contact Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Elise.
All right, we have the approval of the minutes of the previous council meeting, September 27th. Anybody have any corrections? If not, the minutes will stand approved. Hearing none, minutes approved. All right. Reports of municipal officials. Acting Municipal Manager Neil Furtiman.
Thanks, Mayor. It's been a very busy month. The contract for fire hydrant repairs has been signed by us and forwarded to the county for their signatures. The Park and Ride Shopping Center paving project was completed last Tuesday on October 18th. The Services Department has also laid new mulch for the playground. The tornado siren that has been struck repeatedly has been relocated from its previous location to near the Malloy's parking lot. It's believed that the new location should prevent future damage. Sidewalk repairs have been ongoing by Otto and Walsh contractors who had the contract for that. We are instructing them, however, to halt or to bill us for repairs made through November 15th and generally wrap up the project for 2022, and they will restart after the first of the year. The elevator project, after several delays, was wrapped up pretty much today, and the renovation has been completed subject to inspection by the state. The elevator can't be used until that inspection is completed. The repair crew told us that the inspection typically is conducted several days after the request is made. We don't yet have a date, but we expect it to be completed either late this week or into next week. Tree money has been expended for the year. We are reviewing any trees where their condition may constitute a hazard, and in those cases, emergency repairs will be completed. And I did check, Monique, and your tree is on that list, so we'll keep you posted. The Grounds Pro contract for routine grass cutting expires at the end of the year, and this year's activities exceeded the amount budgeted for per the contract. Staff will be taking a close look at the 2023 contract prior to its execution. I've directed staff to inform Grounds Crew that routine grass cutting and maintenance will cease for the remainder of this year unless it's authorized by the manager's office. We hope to have legislation to you soon authorizing the hire of a fire marshal. We have a continuing serious problem with businesses who have opened without a fire inspection and have used faulty materials or prohibited materials during construction or remodeling. Our fire chief is the only officer in the department who is rated to conduct inspections. He has a demanding full-time job, as you know, and very little time to conduct them. He was first asked if he could take on those inspections himself, but has declined due to his full-time job. We located a recently retired fire captain who has conducted inspections for decades. The manager and I met with him, and the mayor and I met with the fire chief and the applicant for the position. He drew up the draft of a job description that is currently being reviewed by Chief Spaeth. When the job description is complete, we will bring you the resolution asking for the creation of this position. This is a very critical need for the village and will address some continuing ongoing, what could be serious public safety problems. Deb Heimer has distributed the draft cybersecurity policy that Ms. Walther Willard reviewed at the last meeting. We're reviewing that now and asking our technology consultant to take a good close look at it. We will examine this along with existing police department technology policies prior to its implementation. An extensive inspection report of the facility that we're seated at, Malloy's, was completed and has been reviewed by the manager's office and the mayor. The staff has reviewed the report, and Mike Castor, our services foreman, has stated that the most expensive component will be roof repairs to this building, which he says can be delayed until next year. His crew recently completed deck repairs and only used $246 in materials to complete the repairs. Mike has told us that the remaining repairs are not too expensive but would be time consuming. He has some of the roofing materials already that are needed and stated that several of the repairs noted in the report have already been made. I would like to bring this back to council at a work session to discuss the future of this facility. Options could involve a marketing specialist or a commercial realtor for a lease or sale option, or at the other extreme, demolition of the building. Presently, it is about a $30,000 liability every year with its current limited usage. We have advertised to fill the vacancy of a full-time services worker through the Center for Local Government on our website and on our Facebook page. We would like to get this position filled before the winter season. This is a full-time position with benefits. We haven't filled it yet, and if anybody watching on Waycross is interested, the pay range is $17.50 to $20.34 per hour with full benefits. There are two legislative items on tonight's agenda that we brought to you for your consideration. The first is a resolution making administrative supplemental appropriations and transfers in the amount of $20,000. The second is a resolution requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2023 pursuant to Section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code. I have asked for an executive session after the regular meeting to discuss the sale of public property. Thank you, Mayor.
Any comments or questions of the acting manager?
Shall I address the questions as for an active manager then? Okay. I have two comments. Number one, on the grass cutting, we had several other companies working on that, and this has been the best one that we ever had. So sometimes the cheaper one turns out to be the most expensive one, so keep that in mind.
Sure.
The second is, we have, on 11/11 at 11, we have the ceremony from the American Legion
Sure.
group. I'm trying to find out if there was enough flags, if there are enough flags to put outside and to put on the medium. Thus far, the only answer I got was that, Brenda wasn't sure, and, that was it. And, I need to know if I need to go and purchase them. We wanted to have it in the medium, this time people coming on Winton Road, at least figure out what patriotic holiday happens to be today since the flags are there. And give them some idea of something happening. And it will be on that far end, as it usually is, where the monument is for the veterans, okay. And if there is a need for more flags, we don't have enough flags, I need to know, because I can put an order through. I don't know who is in charge at this point on that.
That would be the Services Department, and I'll get an answer for you tomorrow.
Okay, now remember also, please, remind somebody that on Memorial Day, when they were not picked up quickly, there were some youth that were trampling upon it and breaking the wooden stick of the flag. So that's what I'm concerned, whether or not we're going to have enough or not.
Okay, we'll
And
check
one
it.
citizen of Greenhills tried to correct that, tried to save as many as he could, but I don't know what the outcome was of that.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure thing.
I have one question. Is there, and I don't know if you would have the answer to this, but any update as far as the new buildings on the DeWitt Court area?
There is, and that'll actually be the subject of the executive session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. No report as the law director.
Okay. How about the acting clerk of council?
And I have no report.
Okay. All right, now we'll go to the acting police, oh no, the real.
Well, sadly, I do have another report.
Yes.
And you look really nice tonight. I was right there.
Oh, yes.
I still have a badge.
Oh, I know, I see.
Our Harvest Fest was a resounding success, and congratulations go to Mr. Halter and his entire team that coordinated that. It went very smoothly, it was well attended, and we had a lot of fun with kids of all ages who came to visit the police facilities and car and slid through it and inspected that and the fire trucks and so forth. We owe a great debt of thanks to our Citizens Police Academy alumni. Jim Hadley, Jim Zeller, Paul and Marianne Odegaard were there with us the entire time, along with Officers Mayberry and Officer Braun. We had a blast with talking with our residents. We were lucky enough to be the recipients of not only goodies and treats and candy and so forth, but also a nice poster that was given to us by the Beckman Active Day Center, which is in neighboring Forest Park. And they came and toured our department and were very kind to us, and we appreciate them visiting us. We held our annual departmental meeting on October 20th. We covered a lot of ground. We issued 15 revised police general orders that updated compliance with general revised code changes. We had two excellent sections of instruction from Corporal Mike Mathis and Corporal Brian Johnson, our two investigators. They presented segments to our officers on domestic violence response and death investigations. Sergeant Patton discussed pursuits, and our newly appointed Sergeant Holbrook presented a segment on critical incidents. We had an open mic where we had the opportunity to contribute ideas for the future. We remind everybody that's listening that Halloween is upcoming. It will be here in the village on October the 31st from 6 till 8. We will have, we've got some safety tips on our website and in our monthly bulletin about candy and avoiding Halloween decorations with real flames and accompanying your children while they're out trick-or-treating. We also have something new that we're doing this year. We have trick-or-treat for Greenhills kids with special needs, and we've already had some signed up. We wanted to make it memorable for some kids that are maybe not mobile and can't get out of the house. So we're going to take trick-or-treat to them. They will have treats brought to them. They can tour our police cruiser and talk and visit with our officers if they'd like to. And anyone that's interested can call our department at 513-825-2101, and we'll be accepting a request through this week. We also went out and visited the Greenhills Cooperative Preschool along with our fire department, and kids had a blast with that. They got to climb aboard the fire trucks and police cars, and our officers read to some of the kids, read some of their stories.
Talking about special needs, there was two highlights that, as I read the reports every day, that I thought was noteworthy and I wanted to report to you. We have many residents with special needs. We know many of them. We're pretty familiar. Sometimes we have to transport them to the hospital for evaluations when they become distraught. Sometimes we just talk to them and we're able to take them home. One such individual is 42 years old. He contacts our department on a regular basis. Although he's an adult, he likes to color, and some of his drawings presented to our officers are on the refrigerator in our break room. One day this month, he was especially active. Officer Blake Mayberry noted at 6:50 in the morning that he was observed walking, checked on his well-being. He was polite and headed to a Maristop to purchase cigarettes. Observed him walking back home. He waited for the crosswalk sign crossing Winton, but did not wait when crossing over the side street. Just information for officers who observe him near intersections for safety reasons. Now, about 12 hours later, Sergeant Patton, working later shift, wrote on station with this individual who decided to take another walk to the PD. I asked him if he finished his coloring book, and he said he didn't. I asked him if he wanted me to call his dad and to let him know that he walked up here. He said yes. No answer from his dad, so I gave him another ride back home and told him the storm was coming in and he should stay home with his dad. I thought those were the kind of representations that we'd like to see our officers interact with all of our citizens, including those that have some special needs. We did get another letter along with a contribution to our community fund, was received from a resident in our J section on October 4th. She wrote, just wanted to let you know what a fine PD you have. I especially want to thank Officer Rob Lenhoff for helping my daughter and myself above and beyond the call of duty. The resident had called because she was having difficulty getting her mother, who was confined to a wheelchair, into their residence. Officer Lenhoff responded and ensured that both of them were able to get safely inside their home with his help. During the month of September, we made 16 criminal arrests, including charges for criminal trespass, operating a vehicle under the influence, fail to appear, fail to comply, menacing, and possession of drugs. We responded to 177 incidents, including 27 squad runs, 13 thefts, 12 warrants served, 9 intrusion alarms, 8 trouble runs, and 8 suspicious persons. We provided mutual aid to our neighboring agencies in 16 instances. We issued 44 traffic citations, 53 warnings, and investigated 8 traffic crashes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Comments or questions of the chief?
Are your officers going to be handing out candy from the cruisers?
Yes, well, the fire department and police department will both be out. Both of us will have candy to give out to our kids that are out trick-or-treating.
Great, thank you. I know all the kids look forward to it.
We do as well.
All right, the mayor's report, I have nothing other than, do we need to do a motion to make Halloween on the 31st?
Typically we do, yes.
We used to do that, Sam.
Yeah.
We hope you guys make it that, since we put it on the website.
And it's 6 to 8?
Yes.
Okay,
Mr.
somebody
Mayor,
later want to make that motion? Okay. All right, Services Streets, Jennifer Osmonoglu.
The only thing I wanted to mention is that the leaf collection schedule has come out. It's on Village Headlines and it's on the Greenhills website, so check that out if you're getting your leaves out.
And they have plenty of leaves.
Yes, they do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Safety, Melanie Hermes.
As soon as we get the job description for the fire marshal, I just wanted to review it with the safety committee to see if there were any questions, so looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, all right. Finance and Audit, Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, you need to use your imagination and think of the 10 copies of the financial highlights that I left on the copier at home. But if not, you can look at Detheimer's last email reporting that. The receipts for the month of August were very healthy, and everything is where it needs to be from a financial standpoint. So we hope to have a meeting on the tax appropriation soon.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted on
All right, community development, Jeff Halder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just thank you again for all the volunteers, all of you that have helped. Jack helping with those pumpkins and cleaning them up. It's one thing to get 200 or 300 pumpkins.
It was 250.
Yeah, 250 pumpkins, but to discover that they were all dirt covered and stickers don't really stick well to dirt. All of you that helped out to clean up, there was a number of people that helped. So thank you for the volunteers that helped on Harvest Fest. And also thank you to Natasha Metz, who got the whole ball rolling. But that concludes my report. So thank you. We do need to schedule a meeting, but we'll get together and talk about that.
Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules, Marie Walther.
We had a meeting last month having to do with the safety of the internet and so forth, as the chief had mentioned. Right now, there is not a meeting in the line unless something appears, and then that will be duly then advertised.
Okay. All right, Recreation, Cable Television, Rachel Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Me and my boys loved Harvest Fest, so thank you all for making that a possibility. We also have gone out and checked out Waycross Media, and we're excited about being able to be involved in that too. Of course, a special thank you to Natasha too. I did go around and talk to the vendors at Harvest Fest. They all enjoyed it. They all felt that they did really well. Some of them had feedback for different time recommendations, and I know that one vendor had their trailer scratched by some trees, but we weren't planning on having them positioned where they were originally. But that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to remind you that in December, we have the light up of Greenhills, and we all also chip in and help
Yeah.
on the times to sign up, so you are not alone on that.
Yeah, we always were, we even leave like Saturdays for service Saturdays and go downtown and things, so we're always available to help.
This is an opportunity for residents and non-residents to make comments solely regarding legislation that's on the current agenda. Non-residents must obtain prior permission. If anybody wants to talk about either of our resolutions? No? All right, no unfinished business, new business, resolution number 2022-26-F, making supplemental appropriations and transfers. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2022-26F, a resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers, whereas the 2022 annual appropriations that were adopted on December 14, 2021 are to be amended, and whereas the appropriations must not exceed the total available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.36A5. Therefore, an amended certificate of estimated resources has been requested from the County Budget Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, since certain actions are needed and the monies appropriated so to permit the Village of Greenhills to meet its fiscal obligations for the year 2022, the following items of expenditures are to supplement the appropriations for expenditure for the year 2022. Fund description. General Fund 1,000. Account number 1,000.710. Appropriation 307,000. Change $20,000, and the new total is $327,000. Section 2, that the following transfer of funds be made from previously appropriated monies. None. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All right, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Halter,
Aye.
Ms. Hudson,
Aye.
Ms. Osmanaglu,
Aye.
Ms. Hermes,
Aye.
Mr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Walther.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2022-26-F passes. Next resolution, number 2022-26-H, 27-F, requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2023 pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 321.34. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's Resolution 2022-27-F, resolution requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2023 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 321.34. Whereas the Ohio Revised Code allows a taxing authority to request advance payment from the county auditor funds derived from taxes or other sources to the county treasurer, which may be held on account of a location subdivision. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio. Section 1. The auditor and the treasurer of Hamilton County, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 321.34, be required to draw and pay to the Village of Greenhills upon written request of the Finance Director, Deborah Heimer, to the county auditor, funds due in any settlement of 2023 derived from taxes or other sources payable to the county treasurer to the account of the Village of Greenhills, and lawfully applicable for the purposes of the current fiscal year. Section 2, the clerk of council of the Village of Greenhills be and hereby is directed to transmit a certified copy of this resolution to the auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any comments?
This simply just allows us to receive the tax money in a more timely fashion. So we're
Yes,
happy
if we
to
didn't
have that.
pass this, we probably wouldn't get it until June.
That's right.
All right, clerk call the roll.
Ms. Hudson,
Aye.
Ms. Osmanaglu,
Aye.
Ms. Hermes,
Aye.
Mr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Walther,
Aye.
Mr. Halter.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2022-27-F passes. Do we want to do a motion now for the Halloween?
Make a motion that Halloween will take place on October 31st from 6 to 8 o'clock.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, now's the time council members have any comments they want to make. Anybody?
Just be careful when trick or treating. If you're driving, make sure to look for kids. They get excited and they're eating lots of candy.
Oh, I'd like to make a comment. Since we're so close to the school, it's unbelievable the speed that late comers to the school are driving. I'm concerned about those in the neighborhood, but especially for the kids. There's a lot of kids that cross. I know they have traffic guards out there and stuff, but the speeds are really, really getting up there if they're late, and I think it's a real hazard, so I don't know what we can do about that.
And to add on that also, the running of the stop signs.
Well, I'm just right now talking about.
As to the speed, I can tell you that we agree with you. It has been an increased problem, and we have deployed officers on the loop streets around the village and have had pretty good success with citations. And you're right, the speeds are outrageous. We've also had problems around the old Primary North, which is now the Early Childhood Education Center on Junefield, and we've had continuous problems with people that are blocking driveways as they line up to get the kids. So we're working with the principal of the school to try and streamline some of the pickup procedures, but we will continue to deploy radar on Farragut, Ingram.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, I did see actually one stop a couple weeks ago, so it's not a reflection of, you know, the police department not doing their job. And I understand when people are late that it's easy to stretch, but I just think that there's so much all coming in all directions.
Well,
And I
with
see
those-
so many kids walking to school too.
Right, with those little bitties, we have to have zero tolerance for speeders.
Thank
We
you.
agree.
Municipal calendar, Maria brought up about Christmas and Thanksgiving.
What is going to be our schedule like? What are we going to see?
And actually, Waycross has requested, I brought that up at a meeting earlier, they have some staffing and televising problems for the Christmas time period. And I knew Yvonne was gonna double check with Deb to see on that arrangement, because we normally would do an early meeting like on the 13th, but isn't the 13th a problem?
Got 6 productions.
Yeah, okay. So if Deb could do it on the 6th, maybe. What do you think?
She is out sick today, but I will check with her tomorrow.
Okay. Shall we tentatively make our December meeting the 6th, and then if,
I know December 6th I won't be able
What's that?
to make it because I'll be out of the country.
oh, okay. Well, if everybody else is here,
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to, I gotta take Grammy to a trip, so she'll be angry if I don't.
okay. So we'll tentatively shoot for the 6th, and if
Okay.
that's a problem, we'll get back to everybody.
Okay.
And so on Thanksgiving, when would our regular meeting be?
The 22nd.
22nd. So I'm open for that, if we want to do something on the 29th or something like that.
The 29th
Would be the last
the last
Tuesday in the month.
Correct, yeah.
Of course, if you do that, you would be having the December meeting a
Right.
week later.
Right
Yeah.
after that, yeah.
I'm in
I mean,
town for
it's-
Thanksgiving, so it doesn't,
Yeah, is the 22nd really out of bounds? for
No, I
everybody?
can be there on the 22nd.
22nd should be,
I may not be
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else be good for the 22nd?
Yeah,
Yes, is November's first meeting gonna be on the 8th, not the 6th?
Right, in November the 8th, yeah,
The 8th and the 22nd,
right.
yeah.
Work session on the 8th.
Work session on the 8th. And then the December meeting tentatively December the 6th.
And that will encompass both parts, like the
Right.
work session and,
can we also check the 20th, if the 6th wouldn't work for Deb to get everything done? Or is that even worse for people?
November.
December.
December the 20th?
Yeah, because if the 13th is bad, so if the 6th doesn't, if that's too early for her, would the 20th
maybe
work for people?
Waycross may not be available, I don't
The
know.
20th? Waycross doesn't mind.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Tony.
Well, would we rather do it on the 20th?
I
I
would.
think so.
I would
All
say
right.
do it on the 20th and cancel both the 13th and the 27th. Just do
Yes.
one meeting in December.
Right, all right,
All in favor?
sure,
And then we're okay with the November 22nd council
Right.
meeting for,
Yeah.
okay.
11
So just to recap, November 8th, November 22nd, and December 20th.
correct.
correct.
Thank you for that.
Okay. All right, now is an opportunity for residents and non-residents to appear before council. I'll skip the non-resident part because we don't have any non-residents that talk to me ahead of time. This is time for citizens to comment on matters before council. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. If you have questions, the questions will be recorded and referred to the manager's office for a response. This will allow time for thoughtful and thorough consideration to be given to each question. Council meetings are recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 4 minutes. Speakers may not yield any or all of their time to other speakers. And we don't have our timer here, so Chief will be the official timer.
That would be the job of the interim. Would you like to do that? It's okay.
Monique Mason-Halter, Greenhills resident. I'm here tonight regarding the small cell facilities ordinance that was passed last month by council. I appreciate that council finally passed an ordinance, however, it still does not provide the maximum power available to Greenhills to regulate the placement of wireless facilities here so as to prevent the irresponsible placement of these facilities and prevent the adverse impacts they could have. Not having a strong ordinance leaves our community vulnerable to unwanted and unneeded infrastructure. So I'm asking that council strengthen this ordinance. I've mentioned before that other local communities have passed strong ordinances, including Marymount. Councilmember Maria Walther has said at meetings that she has spoken to some Marymount council members about their ordinance. Since you only provide speakers with 4 minutes, I'll draw attention to 2 sections from the Marymount ordinance. From section 56.61, safety. A, at all times wireless communication facilities shall comply with the most current regulatory and operational standards, including but not limited to radio frequency RF radiation exposure standards adopted by the FCC. The applicant shall receive and maintain the most current information from the FCC regarding allowable RF emissions and all other applicable regulations and standards. B, upon or prior to installation and prior to activation of any wireless communication facility, the applicant shall submit to the village certification that the facility will operate in compliance with all applicable FCC regulations, including but not limited to RF emissions limitations. C, thereafter, upon any proposed increase of at least 10% in the effective radiated power or any proposed change in frequency use, the applicant shall submit updated certifications for review by the village. D, both the initial and updated certifications shall be subject to review and approval. At the village's sole discretion, a qualified independent radio frequency engineer selected by and under contract to the village may be retained to review said certifications for compliance with FCC regulations. All costs associated with village's review of these certifications shall be the responsibility of the applicant. E, public access to a wireless communication facility shall be restricted. The ordinance for Marymount, section 56.29, residential property states wireless communication facilities shall not be permitted on properties either used or zoned residentially. Regarding the new Greenhills small cell facilities ordinance, there are a few specifics in the guidelines section on what specific reporting is required for permit application. The permit process included in Exhibit B is under Yvonne's control and not subject to council approval. More specifics need to be added to the application materials section. Regarding the Greenhills small cell facility ordinance, also there are a few specifics in the guidelines section on what specific reporting is required for permit application. For example, a compliance report on federal standards. Before you voted on the ordinance, you all had a long discussion about health, safety, and welfare of the village condition that exists in our current ordinance. We've all done the research and know that municipalities with weak ordinances can get in trouble when refusing a permit to an applicant. That's why I continue to ask council members to pass an ordinance that provides the maximum power available to Greenhills to regulate the placement of wireless facilities so as to prevent the irresponsible placement of these facilities and prevent the adverse impacts they could have here.
Good, Diana.
Thank you.
You must have been practicing that.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Somebody make a motion to go into executive session to consider the sale of property, public property.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session with no action to be taken after.
Correct.
To discuss sale of public property.
Second.
Clerk, will the council?
Ms. Osmanaglu,
Aye.
Ms. Hermes,
Aye.
Mr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Walther,
Aye.
Mr. Halter,
Aye.
Ms. Hudson.
Aye.
Do we want to have a